We're in the middle, we are finishing. Today is the last day of our series on the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it ends with a doozy. I'm going to be honest with you, the story that unfolds today. For just a quick recap of the entire series, basically Abram and Sarai was in Padan Aram. They migrate to the land of Canaan where God sent them. God gives them promises, covenantal promises that they will have more descendants than the sand of the seashore, stars in the sky, that he will be with them. He will bless them, but they were dealing with some issues. The primary one is they were old and they weren't pregnant. They had no children, and there were some things that happened throughout it. But after about 20 years, finally, they get new names from God, Abraham and Sarah with the H, and they have a son. His name is Isaac. Isaac stays in the region. He's marked by strength, and he ends up marrying a woman named Rebecca. And Isaac and Rebecca, they also have a time of infertility, but they eventually get pregnant as well. And Rebecca is actually pregnant with twins. Esau and Jacob would be their names. Esau, the one who was born first, and Jacob, the one who was born second. Jacob, the name, it sounds like the word for heel because he was grabbing hold of Esau's heel, but also it means deceiver. And that was really what marked Jacob's early life, a deceiver. He always was trying to work some kind of angle. He convinced his brother Esau to trade his birthright, the rights of the firstborn, for a bowl of soup. But then later he tricks his father Isaac to receive the blessing. He puts some like thick wool hair on his arms to make it feel like his brother, and he smelled like his brother, and his dad blesses him, and it was a whole big thing. Esau is livid at this. He's livid. He's mad. He wants to kill Jacob. So Jacob, with the birthright and with the blessing, leaves Canaan, the land God had sent his grandfather, the land that Isaac was in, goes to Padan Aram, back where Abram came from in the first place. There he marries his two wives, Leah and Rachel. Leah, the one he didn't love, Rachel, the one that he did. And then also he has some children between Leah, Rachel, their maidservants, Bilhah and Zilpah. And eventually he's been there for 20 years. This is a real quick version of it. And now he's on his way back. He's officially separated from Laban, his uncle, and he is entering back into the land of Canaan, the place he left 20 years ago, where his father is, where his brother Esau is. Esau, his brother, who is strong, who is a warrior, who is a fighter, and who wanted to kill him at last note. It's important to remember that detail of it. And with that being said, let's jump into the scripture. If you have your Bible, open it up to Genesis chapter 32. We're going to just sort of tell this story. We're going to read a few verses and then jump a little bit ahead. So we're going to sit in Genesis 32 and a little bit of 33. I'll start with verse number 3. It says, "Then Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau, who was living in the region of Seir in the land of Edom. And he told him this. He said, 'Give this message to my master Esau.'" Listen to the language that is being used right here. Jacob has the right to the firstborn. Jacob has the blessing of the father. So there's a lot of things going on here. But he says, "Give this message to my master Esau." He says, "Humble greetings from your servant Jacob. Until now I have been living with Uncle Laban, and now I own cattle, donkeys, flocks of sheep and goats, and many servants, both men and women. And I have sent these messengers to inform my Lord of my coming, hoping that you will be friendly to me." Hoping that you're not going to beat me up. Hoping that you're not going to kill me. Hoping, listen, I'm telling you I'm coming. I'm not trying to surprise you. Will you please be friendly to me? Verse 6 says, after delivering the message, the messengers returned to Jacob, and this is what they reported. "We met your brother Esau, and he is already on his way to meet you with an army of 400 men. Jacob is terrified. That's the exact words of the Bible. Jacob's terrified. He is freaking out. He is a bit worried about what's about to go down. This is not exactly what he was expecting. He was hoping for maybe a different response. Why is Esau coming to me already? Why is he bringing 400 soldiers with him? What is going on? Jump down to verse number 9, and it says this. Then Jacob went to God and he prayed. He said, "O God of my grandfather Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, "O Lord, you told me, return to your own land and to your relatives. And you promised me, I will treat you kindly." Verse 10 says, "I am not worthy of all the unfailing love and faithfulness you have shown to me." The heart posture of Jacob is clear. I'm not worthy of the kindness and the faithfulness and the love that you've shown me. He says, "Your servant, when I left home and crossed the Jordan River, I owned nothing except a walking stick. And now my household fills 2 large camps. Oh Lord, please rescue me. And from the hand of my brother Esau, I am afraid that he is coming to attack me, along with my wives and my children. But you promised me," it's so important to remember the promises of God. "You promised me, I will surely treat you kindly, and I will multiply your descendants until they become as numerous as the sands along the seashore, too many to count." Jacob is having a moment. He knows God has sent him back to this land. He remembers that promise that you will have more descendants. That's the same promise that was given to Abraham. That was the same promise that was given to Isaac. And it's the promise that was given to Jacob. And he's like, "I know you told me to come back here, but this feels like it's falling apart before it's even beginning." Have you ever been there before? Like you're like, "I know this is what I'm supposed to do, but this doesn't feel like it's working out the way I had planned." Jacob is trying to get back, and he's trying to go where God sent him. He's trying to go where God told him, but he feels like the very first thing's happening is he's like coming up with some sort of pressure. So he's afraid, he's terrified, he's struggling. And so he devises a plan. And you remember his old plans that he used to devise. It was, how can I trick someone into doing what I want them to do? Make the soup smell real good when brother comes back hungry. Clothe my skin with animal fur and smell like my brother to trick my dad. That was his old way of making plans. But he's a new man. God has developed his character and who he is, and he's spent time. And so he develops a different kind of plan this time. He has about 500 animals that he's about to send to his brother Esau. And so what he ends up doing is he takes a bunch of animals, all kinds of different kind of animals, about 500 in total, and he breaks them into 3 different groups. And he has his servants that are with him, and he sends them off one at a time with their group of animals. And when they end up going to Esau, and this is what he tells each of the herdsmen to say to Esau. He says, say this, tell them that these animals, they belong to your servant Jacob. Esau, these animals that we have, they belong to your servant, remember your brother, Jacob. But they are a gift for his master, Esau. Look, he's coming right behind us. So first herdsman gets out there, sees Esau, tells him this, and then gives him the animals. Then right after, a second run of it comes, and the next herdsman says, these belong to Jacob, your servant, but he's giving them to his master Esau. These are for you. He's going to be right behind. He's coming behind us. And then the third one came, does the same thing. And then finally, it ends with Jacob approaching Esau. And this actually happens in chapter 33. And it says this, then Jacob looked up and he saw Esau coming with his 400 men. So he divided Leah, Rachel, and his 2 servant wives. He put the servant wives with their children, that's Zilpah and Bilhah, and he put them out front. And then he took Leah and her children, and he put them next. And then he put Rachel and Joseph last. And then verse 3 says this, then Jacob went on ahead, and he approached his brother, and he bowed low to the ground 7 times before him. What's about to happen? You know, it's like all this stuff went down, and he gets there, and he bows low, and he bows 7 times, and this is what the scripture says. It's so beautiful. He says, then Esau jumps up and runs to meet him, and he embraces him, and he throws his arm around his neck, and he kisses him. And it says right here in the text that right there in that moment, they both wept. What a beautiful picture of a reconciliation. What a beautiful picture of the provision of God. What a beautiful picture of forgiveness. What a beautiful moment. And actually what ends up happening in the text, if you keep reading it, Esau's like, what? Who are all these people? Are they this is your family? What are all these animals? Why did you send me these animals? I don't need your animals. Take them back. And Jacob goes, no, these aren't these are not my animals anymore. They are yours. They are a gift to you, is what he tells him. They don't belong to me. I don't want them back. I am giving them to you. And that little detail is actually really important for us to understand the heart of Jacob in this. His posture, Jacob's posture, it teaches us a few things. One of them is simply that it's actually something the New Testament will teach us later. And I believe this is one of the hardest things to do as a human being. And I only say that because we all seem to struggle with it. And it's simply this: make it right. Make it right. Look at your neighbor and say, make it right. You know, has anyone ever wronged you before? Anybody? Yeah? Some of you didn't raise your hand. Let's ask this question. Have you ever wronged someone before? Yeah. But they meant to do it. I wasn't trying to. It was different for me, right? It's hard to make it right because sometimes it's just simply hard to see where we were the ones who made the mistake. Jacob, you remember the story. Jacob was he did some things, some deceptive things. And so when he comes back, his first response was not to go justify his poor actions. You ever been there before? Just trying to explain why I did it the way I did it. I just need you to understand. That was not his first response. His first response was, you know what? I was wrong and I need to make this right. And, Jesus actually talks about this in the New Testament, Matthew 5:22 or 23 through 24. It says, so if you are presenting a sacrifice in the altar in the temple and you suddenly remember that someone has something against you, you're about to give a sacrifice to God in the temple, and you remember that someone has something against you. Not that you have something against someone else. You remember that someone has something against you. This is what Jesus says. He says, leave your sacrifice there at the altar. Go be reconciled with that person and then come back and make your sacrifice to God. There's a strong sentiment here. Later in the book of Romans, it says this in chapter 12. It says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. That's good. That's a good word right there. But if we're honest with ourselves, it's a hard word too. You ever found yourself not at peace with someone? And I know we all have. It's a hard word. So let me ask you this question. And it's a simple question that hopefully throughout this message and maybe in our time of worship, you'll spend some time and reflect on. Have you sought reconciliation and forgiveness from the people you have wronged? When's the last time you went to someone and said, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong for that? Maybe it was something you did 20 years ago that you never apologized for, or maybe it was something you did last week. So convinced that your actions were justified. Just because someone else is wrong, it doesn't make your wrong right. Just because, when's the last time you actually sincerely went to someone and said, hey, I was wrong, and I'm sorry for that? What did Jacob do? He sent gifts, he bowed low in humility, and he showed honor to Esau. He sent gifts ahead. He bowed low. He humbly sent a message to Esau. He bowed low. That's a sign of humility. He bowed 7 times before Esau, and he showed honor to him. That's what he did. Jacob has the rights of the firstborn. Jacob got the blessing from his father. But just because he carried a certain title, it did not justify his wrong action. So there was something that needed to be made right. God was with him, but God being with him doesn't justify his apathy, and it doesn't justify his avoidance. And the same is true for us. Just because God is with us, it does not mean that our apathy or our avoidance can be justified. So there's a couple of things that I think we need to remember regarding this. First is simply this: seeking forgiveness will always cost you something. It'll cost you something. count the cost, figure it out from the beginning. It's going to happen. It cost Jacob something. We can see that in the text. It cost him 500 animals, and it cost him some of his pride. It cost him a few things. And seeking forgiveness might cost you your pride. Seeking forgiveness might cost you being right. Do you know what I mean? It cost Jacob his animals. And what Jacob was doing here, he stole from Esau. He stole from him. He tricked the father. So because he stole, his goal, his attempt was to give back to Esau to try to make it right on some degree. Have you ever been out to dinner with someone before who paid the bill? Anybody ever been out to dinner with someone who paid the bill before? Okay, cool. Some of you are lying, but that's all right because you didn't raise your hand. You ever been out with like your in-laws and they, and you're like, hopefully my in-laws are going to pay for the bill, you know? Yeah. You ever taken your kids and their family out and you know they were just hoping you were going to pay the bill? I have a friend of mine, I was hanging out one time. It was a bunch of us. It was like 15 people. And we were all going to the movies. And there was this one guy, like the grandfather figure in the group, who always paid. He always just paid. He was just like, no, I got this. I got everybody. I don't know. I think he liked just blessing people and he liked taking care of people. And so we all go to the movies one time and there's like 3 cars going and, first car rocks up, second car rocks up and the grandpa figure, the one who always liked to pay, he's in the 3rd car. And I don't know, I guess their traffic was slow. And so we go up and we're like, all right, let's get the tickets. And one guy said, hold up. Don't buy the tickets yet. I said, we're like, why? He's like, just trust me. Just trust me. Don't buy the tickets yet. And so we're all like a little weirded out by it. 3rd car arrives. The grandpa figure walks in and he goes, all right. And he walks up and he goes, where's y'all seats? And the one guy goes, oh, we haven't bought the tickets yet. He goes, oh, I'll get mine first. And he pays for his ticket and he steps back. He goes, I'm sitting on row 3. Pick whatever you guys want. And he walks in the theater. And my buddy who waited, he was like, oh, that didn't work. It's like when you go out to dinner with someone and you pull your wallet out and you're like, oh man, yeah, I guess if you want to. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's like that I'm going to do this, but maybe you're going to first. So that is not the kind of apology Jacob sent. It's the appearance of it may cost me something versus it actually costing me something. Forgiveness actually cost Jacob something. It will actually cost us something. Because what ends up happening is Esau is like, man, I don't want your animals. I got all the animals and livestock I need. I don't need your animals. You're fine. You probably need them. You're good. Just keep them. And Jacob said, no, they were a gift to you. I wasn't giving them in hopes that you would give them back. I wasn't holding out my wallet in hopes that you would actually pay. No, I wanted to make right what once I made wrong. And he gives it sincerely. So when it comes to forgiveness, it will cost us something. You can't fake that part of it. You have to mean what you say. It can't be false humility. It can't be fake gifts in hopes that you receive it back. No, it will cost something. The second thing is simply this, is that true reconciliation requires humility. This is what the Bible says about humility. Philippians 2:3-4. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble. Look at your neighbor and say, be humble. It says, be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. Be humble. When it comes to humility, this is an interesting thing for me. So when Simon was like 8, so it was like half his life ago. He's about to be 16. When he was 8 years old, we'd get Pokemon cards for him. He thought they were really cool. And he would do he didn't take care of them, but what he would do is he would separate the really good ones in a special pile and the not really good ones in another pile. Did we put them in plastic sleeves? No. Did we play the game? No. Was it fun to open them up? I guess so. So he's really excited about all of his special cards. And I would always tell him, like, man, listen, you need to like make sure you pay attention to like these cards. And he would wrap them in like a rubber band, which again, you're not supposed to do. He wasn't about the money, whatever. And so the next thing we know, Megan has gone somewhere and I'm doing the laundry. Okay. And so I go I throw the clothes in the dryer. Then a few minutes later, I walk in and I open the dryer. When I open the dryer, I see these random like foil paper marks and like all this different stuff. And I'm like, what is this? And I pull one out. It was like the entire front of a Pokemon card, just the foil part. And then I start looking and I realized that we washed and dried. By we, I mean me. Washed and dried every single one of his not bad cards, good cards. And I was lit. You know how much money these cards cost? I pull them out, and this is what I do. This is what I do. I walk into the living room or the kitchen, dining room area where we were sitting, and I go and I just drop them on the table. And I look at him. Disappointment. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, what happened? I'm like, you left your cards in your pocket. You left them in your pocket. Now they're all ruined. And I could see you starting to get upset. And I'm thinking, you should be upset. This is on you, man. He's 8, by the way. And I'm angry at this. This is the dumbest thing ever. I am angry. I'm like, you shouldn't have left them in there. And I could see he's visibly get upset. And I'm like, this is on you, man. This is on you. This is your fault. You should have listened to me in the first place. You shouldn't have put them in your pocket. And he looks, and finally he looks at me and goes, Dad, stop. And I was like, stop what, son? And he goes, stop making me feel bad. Where I started crying and I walked away. Not even lying. I was like, and I walked away and I thought to myself, I just made my 8-year-old son feel bad because we washed some stupid cards. I just got angry at my 8-year-old son because we ruined some pieces of paper that don't actually matter and are easily replaceable. I made him feel bad for what could have been a really simple lesson. But no, something in me was frustrated with this. Maybe it's because I was doing the laundry. I don't know. I was going to make a really bad joke. I was going to say, we should have just blamed his mom and went on with it. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, things you shouldn't say. I should have kept that one in. My bad. But no, for real. So what ends up happening is I walk away. I'm crying because I'm like, I'm a horrible dad. And he's in his room. And so I walk in and I sit down, just edge of the bed like this. I was like, hey, Simon, can I talk to you for a second? And he goes, yeah? And I went, hey, I shouldn't have been angry with you. I was wrong and I'm sorry. He goes, okay, Dad, I love you. That's it. It was simple. It was simple. But I'm the parent. I'm the one who's not supposed to make mistakes. I humbled myself with my 8-year-old son because I was wrong. If you want true reconciliation, it will actually require humility. Humility, don't worry about the other person. Humility from us. And so I don't know when the last time it is you've made right the wrong. I don't know when the last time it was you sought forgiveness. But if truly this is going to happen, it will require humility from us, from those who are seeking it out. If you can't humble yourself, if you cannot humble yourself, you will never, ever be able to actually truly seek forgiveness. Because it's the humility that reminds you, that lets you know. It's the way you can acknowledge the fact that you were wrong in the first place. James 4:6 says this, and he gives grace generously, as the scriptures say. God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. If you are proud, God opposes you, but he gives grace to the humble. The third thing is the responsibility for peace is always first in the believer's hands. It's reconciliation, forgiveness, peace. It is first in the hands of the believer, the follower of Jesus, the Christian. It is our responsibility first as Christians to seek peace. We forgive, the Bible tells us, because Christ first forgave us. And if it is in our power or our ability to bring peace to a situation where there's turmoil, the Bible is actually clear. We are called to be peacemakers. And it's actual, that attribute of our identity as followers of Jesus, that attribute is connected to specifically who we are as Christ's followers. Jesus said it like this in the Beatitudes, Matthew 5:9. He says, God blesses those who work for peace, the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Those who seek out peace, those who work for peace, the peacemakers, they will be called children of God. Peace will not come naturally. It will require work. Jacob couldn't stroll back into the land of Canaan and just hope Esau didn't know about it and hope it all worked out. It's not going to come naturally. It will require work. And if there's turmoil in your family, turmoil in your home, turmoil at your work, turmoil with your friends, it will require work. And that work first falls in the hands of the believer. If it is all possible, anything we can do to bring peace, we are called to bring peace. So God's called us. I believe he's called us as followers of Jesus to roll up our hands and do the hard work that brings peace into the areas of our life and the community. Jacob sought peace not only for himself, but he also sought peace for Esau. And the peace wasn't just going to be good for Jacob. It wasn't going to be just good for Esau. It was actually going to be good for the region. Your peace, in your workplace, your coworkers' peace in your workplace is not just good for you too. It's good for everybody. And so seek out peace. And so Jacob, that's what he did. He was seeking out peace. But there's this little portion of scripture in the middle of this whole story that I skipped over and we're going to come back to right now. It's actually found in chapter 32, verses 22 through 31. There's this mysterious night in the life of Jacob that happens in the throes of this whole story. And so I'll just read it quickly and then we'll pull some ideas out of it and then we'll go back into worship. During the night, Jacob got up and took his two servant wives and his 11 sons, and he crossed the Jabbok River with them. After taking them to the other side, he sent over all of his possessions. This left Jacob all alone in the camp. And a man came and wrestled with him until dawn began to break. When the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of socket. Wildest verse right here. He saw he couldn't win, so he did this and ripped the dude's hip out of socket. Like, what? That's crazy. You mean you couldn't win? But so it says, then the man said, let me go, for dawn is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. What is your name? The man asked. He replies, Jacob. Your name will no longer be Jacob, the man told him. From now on, you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with men, and you have won. Please tell me your name, Jacob said. Why do you want to know my name? The man replied. And then he blessed Jacob there. Jacob named the place Peniel, which means face of God. For he said, I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been spared. The sun was rising as Jacob left Peniel, and he was limping because of the injury to his hip. The simple point here that I just want to sit in for a moment is don't let go of God. Don't let go of God. You need to right the wrongs. You need to make right what's wrong. You need to seek peace with others. And when it comes to God, you need to live in a place where you don't let go of God. This place where they wrestled actually carries great significance. It was at a river crossing. And river crossings in the ancient Near East were not incidental things. They weren't just random places. They actually carried great weight and great significance, both geographically, borders, and ritually speaking. And so he's caught in between. Jacob is caught in between his past and his future. He's caught in between his fear and his faith, and he's caught between what used to be deceit and now his upcoming destiny. And wrestling in this place symbolizes his struggle and survival. His initiation is taking place. His transference into who God's called him to be is happening here. And through the struggle of the night, what we see is Jacob will not let go. Through the pain of his hip being wrenched out of socket, he still wouldn't let go. Let me ask a question. Have you experienced something in your life that has caused you to let go of God? Have you experienced something that's caused you to let go of God? I got 3 things that I think could cause us to let go of God. The first one is simply complacency. Complacency can do that to us. Anyone a fan of the TV show The Office? Anyone a fan of the TV show The Office? All right, my 7 friends out there, let's go. I may or may not be able to quote every episode. Greatest comedic TV shows of all time there with one of the greatest love stories, Jim and Pam. Pam Beasley, Jim Halpert. But they almost ruined it in season 9, the last season, and any fans of The Office, you'll know what I'm talking about. They had this moment where all of a sudden Jim and Pam's marriage was not doing great. And all this stuff was going down. And so they were like, quintessential love story. It was like the greatest thing ever. You get to season 9 and Jim's like keeping secrets about his job and Pam's like all kinds of stuff. And they get to this moment where they're fighting with each other. They're angry and Jim almost like, I'm done. I'll just won't come tonight. I won't be at the house tonight. You can do your thing. And Pam's like, no, I want to fight. I want to fight. Just like, why would you want to fight? Because I would rather fight with you and be with you than avoid the fight and not be with you. She didn't want to grow complacent. I think we so easily can get complacent in life where we just stop the fight because we don't want to fight anymore. We don't want to struggle anymore. We don't want to deal the hard stuff with God anymore. Like we just get sort of like sink into some just flow. Whatever's easiest. I don't want to deal with it. I don't think that's the way our relationship with God. I think sometimes complacency drives us to a point of letting go. Not intentionally, just like it just sort of happens. And it's almost like your relationship with God goes in autopilot mode after that. Well, whatever happens, happens. It's like I'm a Christian because I was really committed 20 years ago, but now, I've just always been a Christian. It's like all your stories of faith and all your stories of sharing your testimony are 10 years back in your past. It's just grown complacent. It's so easy to let go of God in this way. There's a scripture that says that never be lazy, but work hard and serve the Lord enthusiastically. The other translation of this says, don't lose your zeal. Don't grow complacent in our walk with God. Don't act like it's just some ordinary, regular thing. Because if we begin to grow into complacency, we'll let go. We'll stop pursuing. We'll stop searching after God. The second thing is disappointment. Disappointment so quickly can cause us to lose sight. I remember when I was in high school, actually, I was a senior in high school. I was a follower of Jesus at this point in time in my life. I'd really just given my life to the Lord. And when I played soccer in high school, I was the captain of the team my sophomore year, my junior year, my senior year. In my sophomore, maybe even my freshman year, I can't remember it, but my sophomore and junior year, I was winning awards. I was getting MVP and all conference and best defender and all kinds of stuff. It was great. And then my senior year rolls around and it's an exciting year because our team did better that year than we had ever had done. We ended up making it to the sub-state tournament. We were the top 8 team in high school in Tennessee altogether. And I was the captain that year. It was a great year. And I remember we went to the award ceremony. Now I'd won stuff before. And we made it further than we ever had. I was the captain. I wore the armband. So I walked in going, it's going to be a good day. And the awards start coming out. Nothing. Not a thing. I'm a senior in high school. I just started following Jesus, and I am mad. I had friends of mine coming up, Bobby, it's okay, man. We know. We all know, man. We all know. Now, the truth is, I probably didn't deserve an award because I argued with my coach every game. We may have won, but I argued every game. I was right and he was wrong, and he knew it, that I knew it. And then he showed me he was right at the end, I guess. But I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. And I was a little bit like, God, why is this going down this way? Because I was a new follower of Jesus. It's something that didn't matter, but it mattered to me. Like all this stuff was going on in my head. And the truth is, I've looked back on that moment of this thing that happened to me that I thought derailed everything. I had plans, I was going to go to college or play for 4 years and do all the things. But then I realized in that moment, actually my heart for soccer, I lost something. And God was replacing it with something else. And I've always wondered if that wouldn't have happened and I would have kept pursuing soccer for 4 more years, would I have missed God's voice to me when he told me he was calling me into ministry? This thing that caused disappointment, it could have been the thing that derailed my future and destiny. Because that's what it does. It removes us from the appointment that's going to be. But God used that disappointment, instead of allowing it to make me bitter, he used that disappointment to redirect my heart into the thing that he had for me. Spoiler alert, even if I would have played 4 years in college, I was never going pro. But God had a different plan with my future, and I could have sat in that disappointment. Now I know this is trivial. I know it is. It's trivial. It's a high school kid who's disappointed with something about sports. It's trivial. It doesn't matter. Sometimes disappointments are bigger than that, though. Sometimes they cut deeper than that. The reality, though, is still true. Disappointment can derail us from our future if it allows bitterness to creep up in our heart. So if you're facing disappointment, don't allow that seed of bitterness to grow in you, because it will rob from you the future God has for you. Instead, ask God from that situation that was disappointing to bring glory to his name and good to other people. God, I didn't expect this. I didn't want this. But God, how do you want to use it? Because my life is yours. The third thing that can cause us to let go of God is pain. And y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, Jacob had severe pain. His hip was out of socket. He still didn't let go. But pain so quickly can cause us to let go. Also, when I was in high school, not only did I have a disappointing situation with a soccer game, but in high school, my dad committed suicide. That's a different kind of pain. That's a more real situation to walk through. And I remember throughout that time, I wasn't actually a follower of Jesus yet. I'd been going to church. I was curious, but my life wasn't committed to God. I wouldn't do that until the end of 1999. But at this point, I'm just mad, to be quite honest with you. My dad disowned me multiple times as I was growing up, and so there was like this weird blame thing happening in my heart. I had some wrestling moments with God. I remember asking God, why? God, is he in hell now? Is he in hell now? Is that what's going on? That was a real question to ask God. God, why didn't you warn me before my last conversation with him? God, the last thing I said to him was when he said, I love you, son, come and see me. I said, yeah, you too, I'll try. You too, I'll try. Last words I'll ever say to him. God, why wouldn't you why? I remember asking God those questions. God, why did he disown me my whole life? Why? Why? I have two options here, though. I could have shrunk back and done whatever I wanted to in the situation and not went to God. Or I could have went to God and said, God, this is painful. This hurts. I don't like it. Why? It is better to go to God with our pain than it is to shrink back in ourselves and think we will solve it by ourselves. Pain can so quickly cause us to let go of God and go, forget it. It's your fault anyway. So quickly and so easily. But friend, that's not the answer to the problem that is at hand. The only solution for our pain is found in him. And I'm speaking from experience here. This is not some just sort of analogy out of thin air. No, this is something walked through. The only source of comfort for pain and loss is to stay close to God, but that pain will do everything it can to drive him far away from you, to build separation between you and God, to cast the blame between you and God, to walk away and say, I'll figure this out by myself. The reality is me and my brother handled this situation totally different. And I'm going to share his story. But God used that horrible, painful, difficult moment. It was in between my junior and senior year of high school, about 6 months before I fully committed my life to the Lord. It was painful. It was difficult. I could have allowed that moment to put separation between me and God. Because I could allow that moment of pain to draw me close to him, even closer. So if you are in a moment of pain, you have two options. You can allow that pain to separate you and God. Or you can allow that pain to bring you in close. The Bible says that he comforts the brokenhearted. He draws near to the brokenhearted. And so whether you're just dealing with some complacency this morning, you're dealing with some disappointment, or you're dealing with some real life pain, the answer will not be found in isolation by yourself. The answer will be found in God. So the reason why we organized our service the way we did today is because we wanted to give space for you to spend time with God this morning on the back end of this message. So right now, we're going to step back into worship. Do me a favor, stand on your feet. I'm going to come back at the end. But right now, we just want to create space. I've asked some of our leaders to be available for prayer. So like staff and some of the team that's been talked to, we'll have leaders on the wedges over here on both sides. If you're in the room and you're like, yeah, I got to work some stuff through with God and I really need prayer, we'll have people there the entire time we're in worship. So I would encourage you, if that's you, you can leave today and just go figure out what you're eating for lunch this afternoon. Or you can allow God to do a deep work in your heart and in your life. And if you're walking through some stuff, maybe today's the day not to just push this off and go eat lunch. Maybe today's the day to let God deal with it. Maybe you're dealing with some animosity and frustration, some unforgiveness of others. Maybe today you're just going to ask God for the strength to help you walk through forgiving others. Or maybe today you're going to ask God to reignite something fresh in your heart. If you're in this room and you're not a follower of Jesus, friend, today why don't you sit here in this moment and just ask God to meet you here, because he's here and he's present.